This has been a bucket list item for me for a long time, and oh my god, it just like completely lived up to it. I am just so happy to have been there, to have experienced that. It has got to be one of the most underrated slot canyons in the area. Good morning from Page, Arizona. We are here today to explore all of the various Antelope canyons that there are to explore. We're doing some of the lesser known ones today. Looking ahead to this trip, I was expecting this to be one of my favorite days of the trip, so I'm really excited. This was another super quick stay in a hotel, just using it for a bed and leaving, but this one was way nicer than the one we stayed at in the Grand Canyon. They provided a to-go breakfast for us, they had coffee for us, the people were all just super nice at the front desk, and the room is just really nice, and we paid like $85 for it, so I'm pretty impressed. We are currently in line in our car. Bobby is off checking into our first canyon tour. Masks are required on Navajo territory right now, so that will be part of it. We are in a line of cars, and I guess we all drive towards the canyon together. Slot canyons are these very narrow, beautiful canyons, and they're formed over millions of years. Every slot canyon starts as a small crack, and then water erosion and flash floods make them bigger over time. But obviously not every crack turns into a slot canyon, and slot canyons are actually really rare. We just got done with our first canyon tour, and this has been a bucket list item for me for a long time, and oh my god, it just like completely lived up to it. It was so beautiful and just amazing. We didn't do the upper or lower Antelope Canyon. That's like the most popular Antelope Canyon tours to do. And when we went to look at it, it was completely sold out. But after some more research, we also realized that those tours are super overcrowded too, which is just not the experience we wanted. So I highly recommend you guys like searching out some lesser known canyons that aren't upper or lower Antelope Canyon, because as far as I can tell, they're just as freaking beautiful and so worth it. And what was really nice was with so much fewer people, they were able to space us out. So we felt like we were in there pretty much all on our own for a lot of the time.
It was really awesome. The walls were really smooth and they look like ice cream to me. Soft serve ice cream.
Okay.
That's my best description.
That was our first canyon tour, and now we're a little bit early for our second canyon tour, so we're waiting here. The first canyon that we did was Canyon X, which just absolutely blew my mind. Highly recommend. And now we are waiting to go into Waterhole Canyon, which I believe is a bit longer of a hike. I think it's like 2 miles long. I think it's a bit longer of a tour, so we'll see how it is. I'm sitting here just going through my photos from the first canyon as we wait for the second canyon, and honestly, this is just one of my new favorite experiences of all time. Like, look at this freaking photo. I am just so happy to have been there, to have experienced that. Like, oh god, I'm so freaking happy. So freaking happy. Waterhole Canyon ended up being my favorite canyon, hands down. It's really unique because, as far as I know, it's the longest of the slot canyons. And we kept going deeper into these canyons too with ladders. This is what a slot canyon looks like from above. It was the longest tour we did, but it still wasn't long enough in my opinion. I could have kept going forever. We just got done with Waterhole Canyon, which I'm just guessing has got to be one of the most underrated slot canyons in the area. Oh my god, that was like a 2-mile walk. We went through 2 super long slot canyons.
It was like 2 hours.
And literally as we were walking out, I'm like, can I turn around and go back? Like, I just want to walk through all of that again. It was just so amazing. And the whole time I was saying to Bobby, I'm like, I'm so fucking happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here.
It was awesome.
Literally, as we were walking out, I was like contemplating booking another tour just to go again. And this has got to be one of my favorite places in the US that I've been so far. Oh my God.
It's like another planet.
So effing beautiful. Okay. Cool. So I'll probably be raving about these slot canyons for the rest of the day or the rest of my life. But
at least the rest of the day.
For now, we're headed to Antelope Point Marina, which should have some good views, but also have some really good food. And we're starving. And we've done like 3 hours of hiking already today. So that's where we're headed.
Look at us.
Look at us. The restaurant at Antelope Point Marina was actually closed, so we ended up back in Page for lunch. The dining options have been pretty few and far between on our trip so far, so there's going to be a lot of Mexican food on this trip. I got a carne asada burrito, and I have to say it is pretty good. But we also ordered queso that they never got to us, and then they were eventually just like, "Oh, so do you want that queso?" And I was like, "Yes, but not anymore." Okay, I was doing a quick search right before we left Page just to make sure that we weren't missing anything, and I saw the Glen Canyon Dam overlook was something we should go see, and it's looking pretty cool. I'm glad we didn't miss it.
Memories. Time you didn't use the railing. Riveting content.
We are now headed out of Page, but as anticipated, this was one of my favorite days of the trip. I mean, to be fair, we're only on day 3. But I knew that I was gonna love this place. So a few main tips for coming to Page and touring the slot canyons. First, I would definitely book more than one slot canyon tour. We did 2 because you can line up the times well enough. And honestly, I was even tempted to do a 3rd. Like, they were just so beautiful. Second tip is to definitely go for some of the, I'll call them underrated slot canyons. Upper and Lower Antelope Canyon are the 2 most popular, but that means they're also super, super crowded. So we didn't do either of those, and we absolutely loved the ones we did. We were in very small groups, I think 8 people each time.
Yep.
And we were spaced out enough that we felt like we were alone in the canyon. Lastly, I would say don't get your hopes up too much for the food you're gonna have on this trip, because the nature is obviously the highlight of a road trip like this. So when you're out in more rural areas, there's just not going to be a ton of restaurant options. Like, that's completely natural. Fiesta Mexicana in Page was pretty good. The food was...
I don't really have any bad food here. It's just there weren't a lot of options.
Yeah, the lack of food in
Most
general.
restaurants were like Sonic, McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell.
No matter what you do here, I would 10,000% recommend coming here, because this has got to be one of my favorite destinations I've been to in the US so far. Maybe in the whole world. Who knows? It's just so beautiful.
If you go to the Grand Canyon and you don't come here,
you're missing out.
You're making a mistake, because like, you're already this close.
Yeah, you basically drive out of the Grand Canyon through a different exit and drive towards its north rim to get to Page, Arizona. So it just makes sense to add this onto your Grand Canyon trip. Monument Valley is our next stop. We are headed there after this. So that will all be in the next vlog. Definitely make sure to hit subscribe so that you see those. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.